TIFU by being a life art model for my best friend and losing a best friend. So, I'm sure from the title you are all thinking this is just another orny story or whatever. If you think this is that, I don't blame you, but it definitely wasn't a sexy experience in my eyes. His didn't happen today but rather last week, but some context first. I go to a university with around 80% women. I'm a man, one of the few non-havers. I'm turning 20 soon and am around the same age as the other students in my year. The university has a campus where all the students live on site and go to lessons in the same building. All the students on campus do the same history course. While everyone does history, there's a thriving art community in the form of clubs, or groups. It's my first year in university when this all went down. There's this super cool girl who lives 2 doors down from me who I've made friends with. She's also my project partner for one of my semester-long research courses, and she helps organize the art club in her spare time. Let's call her Beth for now. Apparently, the art club has occasional life model drawing session, where they get one of the members of the art club, usually a woman, to model for the group so they can practice their drawing. I've never been super into art, so this was a surprise to hear when Beth told me about this. I assumed having a model could become awkward, but I suppose as long as they were all women and it's for art it's not that bad. So, the day of the fuck-up. I'm working on my part of the project with Beth in the library when she gets a text. Apparently the student who was gonna model got some sort of a virus and was too sick to join. Beth gets really upset. These sessions happen once a month and she doesn't want to miss it. She asks me if I want to model. After all, the girl who was gonna model was also a student, so how bad can it be? When Beth asked me this, it was as if she expected me to say no. I should have. Unfortunately, I panicked under my need to please and the unexpected request, and I said yes. After all, why shouldn't I do something different? There's 3 things I upped up here on out. Firstly, for some reason, I assumed the students drawing me would be random students I had never met before. I didn't consider Beth would be among them. Secondly, as I came out of the dressing room, I realized that I knew many of these students. Since we all live on campus, these were girls. And they were all girls, believe it or not, which isn't super unusual for the art club. I knew and walked with to class every day. My main fuck-up was this. As I removed my dressing gown, trembling with fear like a wet puppy, I got incredibly self-conscious. I was holding a standing pose with my hands on my hips, and I'm aware I don't exactly have washboard abs. I don't know why, but being so in my head about this all made my body react in a weird way, and things began to stir below deck. I never got fully hard, thank God. Unfortunately, for the rest of the hour session, I kept alternating between soft and half-mast due to being caught up in my head. This was incredibly awkward as I had to keep perfectly still, the only thing moving being my meat sausage. Long story short, I've had a few more classes with Beth, but she's refused to meet my eye even once. Her, and a few of the other drawers, treat me nicely enough, but there's this heavy awkward tension every time we interact. It's hard to just find new friends since Beth lives so close to me, so I see her daily. I don't know what to do now and I'm worried I've lost a friend. TLDR. Got hard as a life drawing model and my friend is super uncomfortable now. TIFU by leaving my vibrator in the shower. So for the necessary background, I'm on a hormone treatment which has made my ex drive intense, to the point I get so excited I can't sleep if I don't get off. I still live with my parents cause the economy, so me and my partner don't have many opportunities to do the deed. As a result, he bought me a vibrator for our anniversary to help bust a nut in his absence. It's kinda noisy, about the same level of burr as an electric trimmer, so I mostly use it in the middle of the night, and often while in the shower so the water ambience masks the sound. Last night I was tired after, and left it on the bathtub rim while I got dressed so I could clean it later. Then the ADHD kicked on, I went to get a snack, and forgot. Now, it would have gone unnoticed until I got up the next morning. It's about 4 inches, which is a perfectly reasonable size, and matte black, so I doubt it would stand out to anyone who wasn't looking for it. Except for one thing, or rather, 3. I have cats. More specifically, I have 3 young, curious little hits who like to play in the bathtub after people shower. Somehow, the bastards managed to turn the item of interest on, and voila! They had a fun, noisy, self-moving new toy. I wish I could have seen this going on. Not only cause they're fun to watch, but so I could have stopped this next part from happening. Directly next to the bathroom is my parents' room. By 7 a.m. my dad would have been gone for work, but naturally, it's my mom's late day. And naturally, she's a light sleeper. You can see where this is headed. At 7:30 this morning I was awoken to my mother walking into my room sternly saying my name. Considering I have a teenage sister, I don't know how to feel about the fact she immediately knew it was mine, but whatever, and then sighed, "The cats were playing with your thing." Without further explanation she handed me a 4-inch package, wrapped in a rag, still vibrating. After apologizing and putting the thing away in my nightstand, I fell back asleep. By the time I got up around noon I was convinced it was a weird dream. But no such luck. I checked my nightstand and it was there, wrapped in a rag. TLDR. My mom found my vibrator because my cats were playing with it. And #X200B. Edit. Getting a lot of questions about the hormone treatment I mentioned. One person figured it out from my post history, but yeah, I'm FTM and I'm on testosterone. Yes, it's safe, but I wouldn't get it for your wife unless you're okay having a husband. TIFU by smoking meth for the first time last weekend. I was talking to someone on Grindr after work Friday and they wanted to try something different. I was initially hesitant because this person seemed like they were into some high-risk stuff and didn't disclose their status without me inquiring about it. Initially I said no and told them about the red flags. But I was thinking with my ick and not my head. Told myself I'm down to try new things, so I went. On my way home from work I turned the car around and drove to the location they sent me. I scoped out the perimeter and made my way into a parking spot. After keeping my wallet in the glove box, I got out of the car and walked up the stairs to the room. The door was unlocked, as agreed, and I walked into a dark room smelling of cheap cigarette smoke and the TV playing Family Guy. He was naked laying on the bed with a cigarette in his hand. Slipping off my shoes and pants, I hopped onto the bed next to him. He insisted I take my shirt off to which I said no as I didn't want to stay very long. He started blowing me for a minute before stopping. He picked up his meth pipe, heated the bowl end, and blew a few mouthfuls of clouds. He asked if I wanted any and I said no. He continued back to blowing me again. I never planned to smoke meth. He took another break to smoke more and when he offered this time, I said sure. I'll give it a try but only a little. I put my mouth on the stem end while he lit it, and then I inhaled like I would be smoking weed. My first impression, it tasted vile. I didn't feel anything either. He said I didn't do it right and lit it again, instructing me on how to drag it slowly and keep it in my mouth rather than my lungs, blowing it back out at the same pace. I felt something now. I was starting to feel like I was in a daze and my body was beginning to feel relaxed. My heart started to race and I began sweating. I stood up to go spit in the bathroom. When I felt lightheaded all of a sudden. I didn't feel pleasure, rather a relaxation with some side effects. Immediately after my trip to the bathroom my ick went limp, shriveled up to a size smaller than it is flaccid. Was this because of the meth too? I came back to the bed and he went back to sucking me off. I just couldn't get hard. I got my phone out and started watching Oren, which he was sucking me off. By this point I knew I was limp. I think he knew it as well. He was okay with me watching Oren. He was trying to invite someone else to UCK him while I watched, to which I said sure. He offered me more hits and I didn't refuse. I ended up hanging out there for 9 hours, most of which was spent watching Oren. Before the sun came up, I washed myself off in the bathroom and got dressed. I felt a little different now. I was dehydrated. My heart was still beating faster than normal. My breaths were heavy. I was alert though, with a light dizziness. I left to my car and hopped on the road with my windows open to feel the crisp air. It felt like the scene from Pulp Fiction where John Travolta is driving high on heroin to go pick up Uma Thurman for dinner. I couldn't feel the speed of the car. I was only going 5 miles per hour above the speed limit. I got home in the early morning, sprayed my car with Ozium. Andre treated to my bed. I was completely awake. Although I wanted to rest, my mind was still active. For the next 8 hours, I was masturbating my micropenis to TikTok. Something I didn't have Toto but I didn't want to leave the bed. I'm uncut so it hurt to pull the foreskin back. By the end of it, my body was completely sore from being idle for so long. When I left the bed to go to the bathroom was when I was really starting to feel disgusting. I had a scent of dried sweat with meth odor. I saw my face in the mirror. It was very oily. With clean hands, I touched my face and it left a black tar-like residue on my fingertips and on my nail. There was also this weird dehydration type loopy headache. I took a hot shower leaving nothing to chance, scrubbing my face with a facial scrub. washing my hair with 2 rounds of shampoo and beard wash routine, and clipped my finger and toenails. However, the disgusting smell was lingering all over me. Bottled water didn't taste right on my tongue. I sprayed some cologne on myself and got to work on sanitizing everything I touched down to the doorknobs. I threw my sheets and clothes in the wash. I've never felt this grossed out before. That AWFUL smell was still coming out of the pores of my palms. I'm glad I have ADHD because I didn't feel the intense pleasurable sensation that is in the literature. It felt closer to an amped up feeling when I used to be on meds, which I didn't enjoy. I also wasn't really hungry either. I did take a short nap to rest my brain. TLDR. Made a stupid choice and am now dealing with the consequences. Will never do meth again. Don't be curious like me and avoid it altogether. IT's disgusting. IDK how others do it. Edit. I didn't think this post would get so much attention from the community. Thank you to everyone who has shared their thoughts. I really appreciate it. This has been an awakening for me and I plan to make smart decisions like an adult moving forward. And no meth. Deleted my GRINDR account too. And #X200B.